Welcome back, everyone. So, a sort of quick video. Hopefully, it's a quick video. Of is Stranded Deep worth buying and/or playing for the console in 2023? I need to make this very clear. This is for console. This isn't PC. PC is like a many updates, I think, ahead of us. And this is whatever version is of current time. I'll end up probably putting up what version it is in the moment, but yeah, there is obviously there's goods and bads. So the real question, as it is it worth buying? I don't know exactly in terms of price. I think it might be at $20. I've got it on Game Pass. If you get it on Game Pass, worth it. If you have to buy it, if it's about $20, then yeah, it's worth it. But I'd probably say don't play it by yourself, because that's sort of the good and bad things of this game is that we need a drink as well. There is a bit of fun to be had, but once you reach a certain point, you will get bored. And as is having two people, and two people I think is the max you can have in a game. It helps a lot, but it does make surviving harder. So that's the thing. You can do like what I do, which if you play multiplayer, you can play it by yourself and then invite a friend whenever. Just on that note, make sure you got like one water still per person. But anyway, so yeah, survival in this game. That's weird there. Anyway, so the survival mechanics in this game, good or bad? Yeah, pretty good. In terms of, well, you have your classic thing, but you also have some cool things. As you can see here, you got your health, you got your food, you got water, and then you got FPF. Now, what that is your how long you can be out in the sun for. Now, when me and my friend play, we normally go out doing stuff at night time. Daytime is when we sleep, nighttime is when we explore. We do that obviously just, or if you're going to go explore, do it in the afternoonish time where the sun's down, or stuff along those lines, so you can be back at your base, wherever that will be. And you can do your stuff around your base and stay underneath cover. You don't want to be out on the ocean when it's daytime, and then you'll get sunburnt. But some other cool things of this I've learnt is if you eat, we don't have any, but if you eat spoilt meat, you will actually vomit. And it's pretty cool. Only thing I don't like is you only lose water. You don't lose food, I believe. I will quickly show if we have any. We may not. No, I don't think we do. Yeah, no, we don't have any spoiled meat. But yeah, as is, spoiled meat will make you vomit. And yeah, I think it only makes you lose water. But I think it should be made to have your food and water go down. Because especially like if it's food poisoning, we pretty much get food poisoning. And I can say this because I actually got a little bit of food poisoning the other week. And you vomit out essentially your food and water. So in survivalness, the mechanic's good, but it can be improved. So if you do get food poisoning, it should be because you got small, medium, and large meat. If it's like large meat, if you have like your food and water full, you should have it empty. If it's say medium meat, you should lose 3. If it's like a small meat, it should be on like 1. I don't know if that's exactly how it works currently. I don't think it is. We haven't actually gotten any large small meat because we've been smoking it. That's another thing we'll actually go on that actually of preserving your food. It's weird. It's good and bad. So the food, you can smoke your meat and it'll essentially last forever. if you don't smoke your meat, you'll have a problem. And I'll show you here, because you can get all different things. We have some seagulls here. So with the food, you have to skin them, which is a very good thing. A lot of games you just kill them and then you get the meat from their bodies without having to skin them. In fair few survival games, this is good because as is obviously you have to skin it. But one thing that kind of does make sense with the meat here is, so once I should say, after one day this meat will spoil because obviously it's been out in the sun, which that makes sense. Now, what you obviously want to do with this is you want to get some kindling, and you put on you do this on the fire, and you pretty much light your fire, and it will start to cook it, and then it'll cook it, and then it'll smoke it. The smoke is what you want it to be because as it'll last you forever, essentially. The bigger meat, obviously, the more you get. So if you want to go hunt some big game, and you'll have a fun time. With that, actually, within itself, there are fish. There's tons of, obviously, but there is a few achievements you want to get without by not eating fish for a few days. So that's one thing to note if you're wanting to get that achievement. If you really want to, pro tip is wait, is that already smoked? No. Is to eat fish for a few days and just smoke up as much crab meat and boar meat essentially as you can, but make sure you know what you're eating, because if you do kill or eat any fish meat, essentially I think it makes it so you don't have, I don't know actually, because small, it's small, medium or large meats. I actually don't know. It doesn't say like small fish meat, stuff like that. But if you're doing that, make sure you get some crab meat and smoke that, so you've got a supply for a few days. You need it for 10 days, I think, so just note of that. But the animals, you've only got environment-wise crabs and giant crabs, hogs and boars and snakes, and obviously the sharks. Now, and fish. I would like to see some and seagulls and bats, but I haven't done it before. But I actually saw me mate. He actually speared a bat. He was hanging on that thing. It was hilarious to see that stuff. But point still being on that, there is a few, but I'd like to see some more. Maybe like some goannas, something like that. Some lizards. They would be some cool additions. For that. And as it's still talking about the environment, trees, the regrowth is bizarre to say the least. So these regrow all the time, the young palm tree sapling things, which is weird because they don't actually ever grow any more than this, I believe. And if you farm, you can get these yucca trees. Is it yuccas or yucca? I don't know. But you can get these. You get about 6 per thing. They regrow, but the trees don't. And that's the weird thing. Because even these here, and this is where stuff needs to be tweaked, is these will produce fruit in like about 1 to 2 days. Now, I looked up last night because I actually did do this, do a video last night, but it was like an hour long, so I've changed things up in it. Well, for this one. But I looked it up, and apple trees usually take about 2 to 4 years to grow from seeds to sort of be able to, or it might be 2 to 8. I'm not exactly sure, but it takes a few years for them to be able to start juicing fruit. Now, I don't know why the trees take so long to grow. Surely enough, we could get some small branches, point still being... it's a pain. You can make up new islands. That's actually what this is. I didn't realize that I made the island. We came here. I thought this was just a randomly generated island. Took me a while to figure out it's one I've actually made. But yeah, as these points will be on that, you can still make your own islands, but it's a pain to sort of do because you have to like reload them all the time, and you can't put too many resources on them, but you can. It's sort of something like that. But yeah, we need something so we can actually grow trees or have them just regrow, because maybe if we leave have stuff like this. So it's like looking at, say, Medieval Dynasty for an example. If you leave the stumps in the ground in that game, after 2 years the trees regrow. Something like that for this. Obviously they'd have to work out time, but something to make everything respawn more. Also, apparently the crabs are meant to respawn. I'm quite sure I had crabs as a spawn for this island, but we don't have that, so oh dear. What else is there? Besides the environment, well, I think that's pretty much. Actually, no. Also, one other thing with environment, which I do and don't like. So we get storms occasionally, which is fine. They're pretty cool. It makes you so you can't really travel. Now, my only one problem is sticks and branches don't respawn. Now, that would be fine to a degree if we could get them, like there was like a lot of them, or again, like if we got like rock chunks and clay chunks, if they respawn, but they don't. So what they should actually add is, when there's a storm, because like if you ever see it, the waves are like going reasonably high up. We should be getting like stones and sticks and stuff, and maybe even some logs wash up, even some like driftwood, something like that. Just stuff to make it so we're not having to constantly remake the islands. Plus, PC islands are like a lot different, because I think we've only got the 25, while PC has 50. You don't want to actually go in the water at night. That's another pro tip. I did it once, and yeah, I got one-shotted by a great white. I was hunting for clay. He had to actually come in with a bandage and rescue me. And actually, that now does remind me actually of bandages. Is the healing system in the game? It's good. We need water. It's good, but it's annoying, I will admit, because again, we got single player and multiplayer. Bandages are absolutely useless in single player, to my knowledge, because what the bandages do, they don't actually heal you. To my knowledge, the only way to heal is here you will have a healthy stat, and your health will regenerate. That is what you want. And we've got our meat here. Try and do this. There we go. You always want to extinguish your fire as well. Because yeah, you don't want to waste that stuff. But yeah, once your stat is high enough, you essentially start to regenerate your health. So I think that's the bare minimum there, is what you normally need, but you need both the water and that. We actually might... I don't think that will be enough yet. Give it a few moments and I'll be actually showing. But yeah, the only way I know to heal is to have your food and water up high enough, and that's a pain to a degree. But yeah, bandages useless in single player. Their only use I know of is in multiplayer, when you can actually perhaps heal each other if you die. So that's something I like. Obviously, it doesn't make sense in real life, where like if you got a broken bone, you're just gonna heal that stuff really quickly. There are splints in this though. That's cool. But like if you're badly hurt, you're not going to just be able to wrap a band-aid around yourself and heal. That's something I like. But on that same hand, we should be able to make armor. At the bare minimum, because we only have this core grade scrap, we should be able to make steel armor type stuff. Just give us a bit of damage resist. That would be amazing. Hopefully that gets added. We're still a bit away from that. So yeah, as is, hopefully something like that will get implemented in the future, as is a bit of a sort of combat system, because it would be great. And that. And now bugs. This is a real put off for most. Now we'll look here. This only, and I mean and this is no joke. This only showed up last night as I was recording the video. I was talking about that I hadn't really encountered any bugs, and then this happened. Every time I reload, these move, and I have to stack them back on. I don't know if destroying the cases, the shelving things, and then building new ones is going to fix it. I don't know. I'll probably put an update on that if that does. But honestly, that, as I said that last night, that is enough for me not to want to play this no more. And that's no joke. I seriously do not want to play this while something like this is in the game. Because some of the other bugs I've encountered, but is stuff falling through the ground. That will honestly piss most people off. It did me, very much. So, so that's our healthy stat as well. That I was talking about earlier. So we will start to regenerate our health. But as is, that was just enough to essentially make me want to quit the game. But like stuff falling through the map, I could deal with that to a degree. There was a few other things. I can't remember exactly what they were, but most people probably encounter them. One thing I thought it was a bug, but it was actually just me. When getting up on the rafts, I was constantly doing like this, and essentially I was never able to get up. Turns out you actually have to hold A. You hold A, your character will pretty much do that, and you'll actually climb up onto it, not just try and jump. So that's something I figured out wasn't a bug. But yes, is the main bug I have found. Well, this is honestly probably about the only main bug I've found is these crates drifting off. Other than that, I've had a pretty good experience in terms of bugs, I will say. But I have read comments, and a lot of people said for multiplayer that the game's crashing, that it's taking a really, really long time to load. Other things are stuffing up for them. I haven't experienced that myself. I hope I don't. But as is this the only one I've experienced so far, and if I can chop those up and then rebuild them and that fixes it, really good. If not, as is, I'll put a comment in to say if it does or if I can or can't get this to work to fix it. Or actually no, I'll say I'll do it now, but I won't try in case I break it. But other than that, like as is, there's not too many bugs I've found. But as is, in all terms of purpose, yeah, it's not a bad game to play, honestly. As is, I wouldn't recommend it for single player, just because as is, it's for me personally, it's more annoying single player because of as is like there is the the bandages you can't heal from, and if you die properly. You can't heal yourself, like you can't revive yourself with bandage or anything like that. So that's the only one thing I've found to be annoying. But as is, if you've only got yourself, well, there we go. Hunt carefully is all I can say. If you've got two people, good, you'll have a lot of fun. Honestly, there's nothing funnier as is than being wiped out by a great white in one shot and having your mate have to swim over and grab you before the shark comes back for a second nibble. Or you get knocked over by a boar and it says you've been poisoned. That's one weird thing, is like you can die, you can get poisoned, and you can have like a boar kill you and it'll say that you've been poisoned or bleed. Same thing with the sharks. If they make you bleed, it will say you weren't killed by a shark, but you died by poison. It's a kind of funny concept in this game with how that works, but it's a lot of fun, of laughter and that. When you do as well, actually, when you're beginning to survive, when there's two of yous, survival is a pain. Yes, water. This is good. That's actually one thing. Ooh, that actually looks pretty weird. Okay. I don't know if everyone will be able to see that, but it's like the rain's a bit buggy. So like it's like falling and jumping at times. But anyway, let's just not look at that. We'll just look outwards like that. As is, hopefully this gets updated to like the PC version soon, and hopefully very soon. And actually, one other thing before I do forget, and also I think everyone who has stuck around, the raft. Actually, anyone who's stuck around, comment raft, and then everyone who hasn't watched up to this point, they won't know what I'm going to talk about. But anyway, the rafts. I was hoping to have a houseboat type thing where essentially or pretty much near enough to all of the storage stuff for resources were at the bottom, and then all the weapons were at the top. And I was going to have like a flagpole, crow nest type thing up the top. That's what I was talking about, storms as well. The ocean to wash stuff up. But it was going to be like a 3 or 4 by 6. And it was going to essentially be as this little houseboat. I was going to be on the bottom. My mate was going to be up top in a crow's nest type thing, being lookouts. But turns out we can't do that because there's like a very limited size on how big our raft can be, and we can't put walls on here, which is stupid. Because I was planning on having like an island that was like our main base, but we'd have our raft that could essentially take us everywhere around to grab the resources. So that was, I will admit, just one big pain. That actually almost made me want to quit this then, because I found that out. But I decided to give this game another chance, and yeah, I kind of did properly get into it, sort of. So there is that. But as it is, yeah, the rafts need to be improved because, you know, we can make find it. The bases. So we know how to do the wooden raft floor, the plank floor, the corrugated floor, or the clay floor. I actually would like to see what the clay floor looks like. The point still being, we can already put a heap of weight on here. We should be able to put walls on here, or at the very, very least, we should be able to make piles. Now, piles are these things over here. We should be able to put these on here, and we need logs because, you know, I want to have like a log pile on here that could shove a heap of logs on, but you can only have logs in a single thing. So essentially, these have like 5 spaces. So yeah, that's. I mean, there's enough room for like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. About 11 odd spots that could actually fit in here because of the little dots around there. But anyway, yeah, I was hoping to have this like a storage raft, and then I was going to have like a house raft sort of thing, or a bit of both. But yeah, we can't make that, unfortunately, but hopefully in the future they'll allow us to do stuff like that. But anyway, other than that, hope everyone has enjoyed. I probably will end up doing another review on this if it gets updated, and hopefully that stuff there I can fix. But other than that, hope everyone has enjoyed. I hope everyone find this informative. And if you've played Stranded Deep, comment any, or specifically if you're on console, comment if there's any bugs or things you've found, so I can look out for them myself as well. But just and then as this friend one then who obviously will watch this, they can go in the comments and see other bugs other people have encountered, just so they can look out for them as well. But anyway, yeah, as is, hope everyone has enjoyed, and see everybody next time.